Hey, greetings. My name is Coach Mark, and as a educational consultant, motivational speaker, as well as transformational coach, I know the power of learning and sharing those learned experiences with others. I recently had the opportunity to travel to South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. And here are the top 10 things that I learned on my vacation.
All right, here's number 8 of things that I learned while vacationing in South Africa. So let's talk about the Dutch. So when I went to Cape Town, and I went on tour in Cape Town with my tour guide, he began to explain the history of South Africa as relates to Cape Town in particular. And what I found out during that time was there is a huge population of Dutch nationals, or people, native Dutch people in South Africa. But what I also learned was that the Dutch were the first colonizers to Cape Town, South Africa. They were the first ones. Came over to South Africa. Now, as history would have it, they came and they saw Cape Town as well as South Africa as a good landing spot for trade. This was a place where they could come a good route as they were going to Asia to supply the Dutch India Company called VOC. Now, this is where they were stopping at food and water, trade for food and water, as well as considered a rest stop. Now, that was fine, I guess, if you will. So that's how they landed there. And of course, it grew and so forth. But here's one of the things as I began to get curious about that, because, I felt some type of way. It's like, okay, it's not their native lands or whatever, but I get it. So the VOC, a lot of the people that were employed by the shipping company decided that they were going to retire in this land called Cape Town. And at the time, it wasn't called Cape Town. I think it was called Cape Colony. That's what it was. So in Cape Colony, they were given, as a part of their retirement, this land, or parts of this land, to farm. Okay, I get it. Now, what they found was that this work was hard, that farming wasn't as easy as they thought it was. They wasn't just going to retire and get this farm and get all this good food that they would be able to trade and all this other stuff for the people that's coming through, passing through. It was hard. So what did they have to do when they couldn't do it themselves? You know what they did. All of a sudden, they need some workers. And what did they do? They got slaves. So now we have these colonizers that came over, taking the land that don't belong to them, are making money from the land that don't belong to them, and then got to enslave the people to do the work in the land to make money that don't belong to them. I said it. Now, this is where I really, again, kind of got deterred and kind of got upset, because as I began to do my research over the course and span of time, as they began to enslave, they began to trade slaves. Now, research will have it, and what's laid out is that over the years of the slave trade and so forth, and I would say the African slave trade, that the Dutch themselves shipped between 550,000 slaves to 600,000 Africans, estimated. You come, colonize a land that doesn't belong to you. Find it that is rich in soil that you can build farms. The work is too hard for you, so you take the natives, the people that live there, the people that own the land, and in the surrounding areas. You get slaves, and then have the audacity to make them do the work that you weren't willing to do. And then get to the point where it's so massive that over the span of the African slave trade, you have traded over 600,000 estimated Africans. Yeah, that's what the Dutch did, who are now still living large in South Africa. Yeah, I feel some type of way about it.